The first thing we're going to do today, which is the first time we've had the opportunity to ever do this, is to announce our 2018 team and individual award winners in this venue. So we've never had the opportunity to do this before. We typically just send out an email, which we will do, but I get to announce our award winners live. So let's start with our teams. And our number 5 team for closed transactions last year was Niles Shadlowski and Brooks. And they did 62.75 transactions, about 13 million in volume. So congratulations. Our number 4 team in transactions is Team Doobie, Sue and Evan Doobie out of the Auburn office. And they did 73 transactions, about 11.5 million. Congratulations. And the Pelletier team, Lane and Travis Pelletier from Bangor, they were number 3 in transactions and number 5 in volume. And they did 112.5 transactions and 16.9 million in volume. So congratulations. Then the Cameron home team was number 4 in volume. And that's Pam, Andrew, and Tracy. And they did 46 transactions with 17.1 million in volume. Our number 3 team in volume is the Brunette team, which is Heath Taylor and Steve Burnett out of Sanford, Maine. And Steve and Heath did 61 transactions for about 17.15 million in volume. Our number 2 team in both transactions and volume is the Fish team, which is Carolyn Fish, Jason Fish, and Lindsay Lasco. And they did 116 transactions for 20,153,000. So congratulations. And our number 1 team in both volume and transactions is the Gina team from Auburn, Maine. And that's Gina Letourneau, Masiello, Judy Price, Hannah Clark, Melissa Greenwood, Sierra Lamoureux, Jane Woodstone, and Diane Marquis, and they did 27.3 million and 173 transactions. So congratulations to all of our team winners. On the individual agent side, closed transactions. So Les Priest from Augusta was number 5 in the company with 49 closed transactions. Number 4 is Holly Taylor from Bangor with 60 transactions. And number 3, Linda Gardner, also from Bangor, with 60.25 transactions. And there's a tie for second place in transactions, which the tie is between Melissa Bartlett and Linda Davis. Melissa's from Bangor and Linda's from Auburn, 62 transactions each. And then our number 1 agent for closed transactions is Linda Bolio from Auburn, Maine, with 85 transactions. So congratulations to all of you. Great job. On the volume side, so our number 5 agent in volume company-wide is Denise Sassaman from Durham with 12.598 million in volume. Number 4 is Lou Nixon from Bedford, and Lou is at 13.2 million. Then our number 3 agent is Anu Rao from Nashua, and Anu had 15 million in closed volume. Our number 2 agent for volume in the state is Frank DeStito from Hollis with 17.94 million in volume. And then our number 1 agent in the company for volume from Wells, Maine is Peter Larochelle with 29 million in volume. So congratulations to all of our top award winners, and we'll be sending out the award winners for all the categories and all that. I believe it'll be going out today. So congratulations, everybody. So let's just talk a little bit about market conditions. So got off to a slightly slower start this January than last January. We were down about 13 or 14 transactions. So, not really significant. January really is not any type of a predictor. One thing, though, we are ahead in listing inventory by about 19 units. So 19 individual listings. So that's good. And this market really will be about listing inventory, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Interest rates, if you've been following those, they're in the low fours now, 4.2, 4.3, so they're at a 10-month low. There's no real pressure on rates, so I think we'll continue to see a strong and favorable rate environment. Certainly, if you're a buyer right now, inventory will be somewhat of a challenge, but employment's very strong, interest rates are good, underwriting's lightening up a little bit, so we've got a good environment here on the home purchase side. Starting to see lots of questions again about inventory. So let's just talk again about the environment we find ourselves in. And this, you guys have heard me say this before, but I kind of feel like I can't say it enough because it is a unique environment that we find ourselves in. So we now will be in our second selling season, where we will be extremely pressed for inventory. As the economy has gotten better, as we approach full employment, we'll be approaching not only full employment, but wage growth as well. You've got a lot of different demographic groups that are entering the housing industry, whether they're millennials, Gen X, Gen Y, the different stages of baby boomers, early to late, right? Baby boomers, they all enter the housing market with specific needs. So today we are dealing with a far more diverse pool of homeowners and potential home buyers. And we're also working with a static housing supply that really hasn't changed much in the last 10 years. Again, there's pockets of housing, new construction in certain markets, but generally speaking, the market doesn't really have a lot of new construction. So if you take a look at, if you go back to the recession, to the start of recession in 2008-9, to where we are today, we are generally dealing with the same available housing supply for purchase today that we had 10 years ago, but yet the pool of buyers and the needs of homeowners have expanded. So just the raw number of people entering the housing market has changed. That's a permanent part of our landscape now. There's no quick fix to that. There's not a renaissance of building, if you would, where communities are saying, we want to build 300 new houses. We want to add 300 new houses to our tax rolls. We don't have any of that. So inventory is king, right? And that was one of the reasons why when we made our compensation changes, that they favored the listing side of the transaction, simply because that we've got to give people resources and rewards to go out and derive that inventory, because that's what's going to feed the marketplace. And so we have to be thinking about strategies. So last year, we rolled out the Secure Housing Addendum. We're going to be wanting to coach and counsel our seller clients about why they want to get their house on the market now, and that build into the purchase and sales agreements things like the suitable housing or secure housing document that gives the seller an appropriate amount of time to go find suitable housing. What happened last year is we hit a logjam around June, July, where we just didn't have any more inventory. And then the other thing, which I think was more fascinating, was that home buyers really didn't want to get. You had a lot of people that did not want to participate in the multiple offer or the bidding process, right? So here we are with kind of the same dynamics. They're not negative dynamics, but they're dynamics that require different strategies. So focus on your listing inventory. Be focusing on counseling your seller clients that it's okay to put their house on the market now, even though they haven't found anything. And we have ways to backstop their agreement so that they're not homeless, because that's what their concern is. And we can build into our purchase and sales agreements the proper provisions so that that doesn't happen. And people should feel secure about getting their houses on the market now. Because on the other end, when their house is under agreement, they in essence become a cash buyer, right? And then they become a much stronger buyer for their next purchase. So those are things that we need to be mindful of, and we'll be working on those. Just sidebar, we've also got buyer brokerage training that's starting now, and we're going to be doing those in clustering offices together where we can. Some of it will be in the offices, but other buyer broker classes will be kind of regional, where we can maybe do 2 in a day and hit 3 or 4 offices. So you'll see that coming up. I think the first one is actually in Auburn, and then it's working its way south. So, and if you got any questions on that, just email Kristen Wheatley, and she'll be happy to give you the dates. So next, I had somebody talk to me a little bit about wanting me to touch on the value proposition as a listing agent. So if I'm a listing agent, what's my value proposition? And there's kind of 2 points to that. So I would direct you back to our marketing pieces, and it's kind of a poor person's PowerPoint here, but a couple of things that differentiate you as a listing agent from a competitor is the process that we have of distribution, response, and measurement, where we've got a very wide distribution system. We have a response system, right, where leads come in, they get dealt with immediately, and then through ListHub, we're able to measure market activity. And these 3 things in themselves, I think, are a good differentiator. The other value that I would focus on, and again, here's the marketing piece that covers it. You see that is a complete team of partners. So, ranging anywhere from having our own in-house attorney with Jim Fleming, who's such a valuable asset, to our own marketing department, to our mortgage and title partners, to the other experienced agents in our company, to the depth that we have in sales leadership in our offices. If there's a problem in a transaction, we have the resources that we can bring to it. If it's going to get solved, we're best suited to solve it, right? So the other thing I would be thinking about in relation to value proposition is, pick 1 or 2 products or services that are available to you, whether it's TMG Connect or it's part of the listing presentation, and educate yourself on it and be really good at it. And help build those skill sets that are transferable really to any market. And it's about understanding not only the resources that are available to you, but how do I leverage them, and how do I also communicate, right, to a buyer or seller client the value that I can bring. And repetition is really the best teacher. So your ability to understand and be fluent in resources that you have available to you are really important. A couple other things, just real quick. Make sure your profiles are up to date in Realtor.com. Your profile and your website is up to date on TMG Connect. All those types of things, all those little things really matter quite a bit. So just some sales points there. So how are we doing for questions, Melissa?
Ed?
I get to unmute myself. Good morning, everybody. If you have questions for Chris, just open the chat and send them, and I will ask. Chris, we had a question about a new thing that sort of showed up on people's radar: Amazon real estate.
Yeah.
Amazon was just books, right? And then now they're everything, including real estate.
Yeah. Well, everything's about. You might want to mute yourself. So everything's about one-stop shopping. Everything's about convenience. So if you hadn't seen it, Amazon's starting to offer access to real estate agents off their Alexa product. And, you know, again, it's all about convenience. And think about this, right? We do the same thing. We offer mortgage, title insurance, and home warranty all in-house. It's all about ease and convenience. And, you know, the environment that we find ourselves in is about being Johnny on the spot and being convenient. And you're going to just see more and more of that type of offering by different, you know, organizations, right? I mean, Amazon, I saw an article the other day, Amazon controls 49% of the retail business in the United States. So, and, you know, we all use Amazon and they're very good about ease and convenience. So I'm not surprised to see that. I don't know how much of a long-term threat that is. You know, real estate is all very local. It's really a lot like politics. So I don't see, you know, the real estate agent being replaced at all. You know, we all have these conversations about relating real estate to the travel industry, but I don't really see that happening at all. But how people access an agent is going to change for sure. And again, it's all about ease and convenience. So what else we got?
Looking for other questions or comments through chat. Notice that Kristen Wheatley mentions that you can actually tap into Alexa yourself by using flash briefings. And Kristen, maybe you could send something out about that after the meeting today. That could be interesting.
Yeah, technology's changed so much. If you want to have a fun exercise, think about the last 10 years. Think about all the things, right? That article that I sent out to everybody last week. Think about all the things. I mean, we were all laughing about that art. I got tons of responses on it. You know, the technology, the 10 cool things, you know, or 36 cool things from 10 years ago. You know, Ed and I were laughing about, you know, the TV, right, with the VCR built into it. I mean, that was like really high tech, and that was only 10 years ago. So you think about how quickly things change and how, you know, quickly businesses to adapt technology to consumer needs. What else we got?
If you don't know how to chat, there's a chat icon on the bottom of the screen.
Well, while we're waiting on that, so don't forget outgoing referrals. Great source of not only talk about one-stop shopping and service, right? It's a great service point for you when you're working with somebody who's you know, relocating. And from a revenue perspective, the average referral fee is about $1,000 or so. So, you know, you're not only, you know, doing taking the extra step in caring for your client and referring to them to a broker of equal quality to us in their destination market, but also it's a revenue opportunity for you as well. And I know Jocelyn's going to be doing another contest, and we're always looking for referrals. The more referrals that we send into our referral networks determines the referrals that we actually get back as well. So it's an important part of that business.
So Karen Hamilton brings up a question about a marketing piece addressing seller concerns and their options, which I'll forward to the marketing department. But I wonder, Chris, if you could talk a little bit about some of the tools that are available to the agents when it comes to working with potential sellers and the challenges they have in putting their house on the market in a short inventory environment.
Yeah, so earlier in this video, I talked about that secure housing addendum that we put together for everybody last year, and I'll recirculate that. But we're going to have continued specific strategies, and I know of course it comes up when you're talking with people, but it's going to be the norm now to get your house on the market, and you would have not found something else, and it's going to be more and more of the norm, where people are going to need to be willing to do that to effect a move, because the inventory is so tight. And we can, you know, draft, we'll resend out those addendums in the language so that you can have that as talking points. I think, Karen, that's a really good idea. Maybe we'll put together a specific marketing piece with the language so that you guys have it when you're talking to sellers. It's something that we're going to have, it's a language we're going to need to be fluent in because we're going to have this issue for the foreseeable future. Even in a downturn, even if there's some sort of a downturn in the market, population is still growing, housing supply is still static. So yeah, great idea, we'll do that.
So Mark Pilot brings up in a marketplace with a shortage of inventory that we will be competing against other agents who compete on price, not value. And it's an interesting distinction, isn't it, that that there's a difference between price and value. And do you have any thoughts on how we create value for our clients, both buyers and sellers for that matter?
Yeah, I certainly on the listing presentation, one of the things that I would make sure you do is that you know that listing, the marketing pieces that we have, that you know it cold, and that you be able to explain. It's one thing to be able to say, well, this is what we do. The extension of that is this is what we do, and this is how you benefit. And things like years of experience, number of transactions, market share. I'll give you one actually that I think kind of goes underutilized and that I've always greatly appreciated. So even if I'm an agent and I don't take relocation business, not the newer versions of business development they have now like OpCity and things like that, but more traditional relocation business. If you go through the listing presentation, it has in there the clients that we represent. So from a value perspective, we're trusted as an organization, you as agents, by entities like the entire United States government, Microsoft, Nike, Bed Bath and Beyond. It talks about Fortune 500 companies, right? All that. So the fact of the matter is that when a seller picks a Mass Yellow Group agent, and the seller picks you, they're picking somebody who is trusted by large national organizations that have exceptionally high standards. And I think being fluent in that language is how you build the value proposition. Marketing pieces that I just referenced about a comprehensive marketing plan, being able to bring resources to bear to help transaction be as smooth and easy as possible. Certainly market share, all those types of things, and understanding those and being able to talk in a fluid manner about how they benefit somebody is really critical. And I think that's going back to what I had said earlier about pick one or two things and get really good at it. And that's one of the things in this environment that I would make sure that I knew cold. That I'm on a listing appointment, here's my value proposition. It's also great topics for sales meetings too at the offices for the sales directors. That's a great thing, is to just go back to basics, take one of the marketing pieces and have everybody kind of brainstorm, well, how do you use this? So that's something can be done at a local level.
Okay, last call on questions for Chris. Feel free to chat him now.
Okay. Last call.
Nothing else right now.
All right, great. Hey, so good to be with everybody. Congratulations to our award winners. You guys are all amazing. And this is going to be a good year. And, we're already seeing the daily pendings are coming up, right? So, this time of year, we're out of January, we're into mid-February. It's not dark at 4:30 anymore. Right, so the world's coming back to life, and we can see that in the daily activity. So you guys are doing a great job, and I'll see everybody soon. Take care.